Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you are new here. Hello, my name is Roxanne, also known as By Bun, and I'm a mixed media artist, illustrator, and maker of things. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a plan with me video, which is actually something I traditionally do over on Patreon, just because sometimes there's things in my planner that I don't necessarily want on the internets. However, I have a pretty lengthy to-do list of some things that I want to update in my planner, and I thought that maybe we could do it together here on the channel today. In case you didn't know, I switched into the big happy planner format. I've opened this and moved it off to the side so you're not being blinded by glare here while I give you a quick recap of what I've been up to in my planner. In case you missed it, at the end of last year, I switched from working in an A5 Hobonichi into a big sized happy planner. And let me tell you, I have never looked back. I essentially needed something that I could move things around, have different sections, because my planner encompasses a lot more than just my daily to-do list. I have a lot of like my business sort of tracking things, my content planning, my book journal is in here, my daily life stuff is in here. I manage a lot of schedules, my own, my kids, my husband's. So there's a lot of things that I manage. So I like having it all in one place. And I just found that the Hobonichi was getting a little bit challenging for me, kind of flipping back to pages and trying to get to, like, again, tracker sheets or things that maybe I had set up or something that was project based. I may or may not be working on a new online class, and that is something else that I will need to get set up in here at some point so that I have sort of a place where I can take notes and track progress and note what videos are done and aren't done, etc. So my planner is really, and you can see it's getting pretty chunky at this point. I see an archive session in my future. But my planner is really like everything. My whole world is in this. So I just found that the Hobonichi was just getting a little bit more difficult to sort of navigate around. And the Happy Planner is doing the job. It is so much more flexible. It fits all of my planner and project-based needs. And I'm just incredibly, incredibly happy with it. That said, I do try to do a monthly plan with me video over on Patreon. So if you are looking for more like in-depth sort of weekly planning, monthly planning videos, those are going to be over on Patreon. However, for today, I do have a bit of a list, and I always maintain like a little to-do list kind of up in the front of my planner of sort of areas that I want to come back and update or add, etc., that maybe I just can't do in my day-to-day that I don't have time to do. But when I have, a minute to actually carve out some time to sit down and like thoroughly plan something, or again, create like again, some of the examples in this is like setting up for April. I haven't set up like my April spread, so that could be something that we could work on. I want to update my content planning pages. That's these little tabbies over here, these big Mickey tabs. Let's flip to it. I'll just show you. I have this little system that I've had for a while now as far as doing planning content and videos. You're getting a real behind the scenes look here. And my usual thing is that I had my running list of ideas, and then once I filmed a video, I moved it to my editing list, and then I would sort of cross off things from there. But unfortunately, the system really isn't working for me anymore because I'm producing so many videos. I can't even keep up with this. Like, there's no point. So what I really need is just a crisp list of like YouTube video ideas. And I have this for all of kind of the regular content that I make. So I have my YouTube video ideas, I have Patreon videos, and I just made this too, unfortunately. My sketchbook club, my tarot club, these are separate videos that are on my Patreon all access tier. So I have them sort of categorized by what type of videos it is that I'm making. And this is really important for me when I go to sit down to film a video, or when I come up with ideas for videos. I do need a place for it to go. So these pages are very important, and it's important to me that they actually work as well. You can see that it got to a point where I just was quickly coming up with ideas and jotting it on Post-it notes and sticking the Post-it notes in here. So it really does tell me that I need just a singular list of video ideas rather than having this sort of, here's the idea, okay, it's been filmed, now it's been edited, because I'm just cranking out videos so quickly and so often. This setup doesn't work for me anymore. So like, this is something that I want to come through and update. That might be something that we do here as well. Printing photos. More recently in my weekly pages, which I'll give you a little preview of some weekly pages here. Here's a sample. Here's a sample of my weekly pages, and I recently started running, and I have been, at the end of each one of my runs, I take a little selfie as sort of like a badge of honor kind of thing, and I put the little pictures in as sort of like noting when I did my run. Because I'm new to sort of tracking my fitness, this is a little bit out of the norm for me. I just don't normally track fitnessy workouty things. That's just not something that I do. Running though has been such like a new addictive sort of thing, and it really does, like, man, the runner's high thing is that's a real thing, by the way. I'm really like proud of myself for the progress that I have made, because I never thought that I would be like a runner person. So when I take my little pictures at the end of each run, like, I'm always really proud of myself. And so I like putting them into my planner here just to kind of see them along the way. But I have not updated my photos for last week. So that is something where I want to come in. I've noted when I did my workouts or my little runs, but I want to come in and add my pictures in here. So that's something else that I need to work on today. That was for the week prior. This was actually last week. So you can still see I still have some space here of where I do want to come back in and add pictures. And then this is my current week here, which is sort of in progress. So I need to update these guys. As you can see, I live in a more is more sort of philosophy with my weeklies. And I really like adding in little bits of life, whether it's drawings from my kiddo, stickers from something that I ordered, or from trash. Obviously, if I have like a Disney day, that's being heavily noted in here. I lean into the sort of Disney ephemera and whatnot. I'm just having a really good time. You can see here's more photos of after I did a run. Again, cute little notes from my son. It's just like fun ways to save sort of personal life things and get it in here. I love this one as well with this big bicycle drawing from Roman, which is so cute. Also like paint chips, because I was painting other rooms in our house, so I stuck those in there. And you can also see too, I work thematically in color. So like every week I have a different color theme, and it just brings me immense joy. You can see I had a Disneyland day here, Valentine's for my kiddo. This was when we bought him an umbrella so that we could walk to school in the rain. Trader Joe's stickers. So you can see it's a real like mix mosh. I very much call it like my planner journal, because yes, it is my planner, but it is also like a journal of my life, of my day-to-day as well. So that kind of gives you a little peek into like what my kind of weeklies look like here. And here is what a monthly overview kind of looks for me. So I need to update my upcoming April one, and I like to put sort of high-level goals, big sort of thematic things. Obviously, you can see, again, I put another little like running photo in here. I've been working on updating my 5-year journal, so that's what's going on here. And then I like to just put in fun sort of things that either are like the vibe of the month or that just brings me joy. That tends to be what ends up in this section here. So when we toggle to April, I have not updated it yet. I've started to put in some little things here and there, but I haven't put in my goals for the month, added extra ephemera, etc. So that is something that I would like to do as well. So I've got a lot on the to-do list. I'd like to revamp those content planning pages, get the photos printed for the last couple of weeks, and get those updated in last week and the week prior. And then I'd like to kind of set up my April overview, April page as well, because I think that would be really good to get done. Of course, the list of things that I want to do is never ending. There is even more on this, like updating my book sort of area. Oh yeah, I want to put tabs for April for setting up my other sort of weeks. I have some of the upcoming weeks in April lightly planned, where I kind of lock in what the color scheme is going to be. I'll throw some stickers in, or if I need to like write something, I will do that. You can see here I have purple is going to be the theme for this particular week. Then we've got Easter, so I'm leaning into the pastels. And I think that's all I have sort of planned out there. However, in my weeklies, I add these little tiny Mickey tabs up here. So that might be something else that I sort of do in my April setup area once I get my sort of like monthly overview set up. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put you into time-lapse music mode while I sort of tinker and kind of get some of these areas updated that I have been kind of chatting you through. And then once I do that, I'll pop back in at the end for like a little bit of a real-time flip through of where everything ends up. love that I went from, oh, I'm just gonna tinker, maybe do a couple of things off of my to-do list, to then full send, doing everything on my to-do list, archiving pages, swapping out my cover, did like a full little plan with me session here. That was crazy, but it was nice. I was able to check off kind of everything that I wanted to work on in my big planner journal here. That all said, let's do a little quick kind of update flip. I'm not going to do like a page by page flip through, but I'll kind of just go over everything that I updated in this little sesh. First things first, I did swap my cover out. I went ahead and did the Alice in Wonderland cover. This is actually flipped like inside out. This isn't the true cover. I just like this pattern with daisies and the characters all over it a little bit better. It was giving spring vibes, so that is what I went for with that. I didn't do too much changing in this particular little inside cover section. Just kind of added some paper that I really liked, kind of updated, moving my little stickers over. I did add another little sticker. This is from Mare Bear Press. This is from No White Space Stickers. This is from an Etsy shop that is no longer open, I don't believe. And then I just love this picture of us at the parks. I'm covering over my son's face, of course. I left this little pocket in here. This is what I keep my big tabs in. It's just really handy, so I kind of leave that there. And then, of course, I didn't make any updates here. This is from Bubblegum Labs on Etsy. This is from No White Space Stickers, No White Space Stickers. All right, so right in my first section of my planner journal is all of my book stuff. Also, if you guys want to see me set up this book journaling, reading journal section of my planner, there is a video of that here on the channel, so I will refer you to that video if you want to see that. But we have my books read in the front here. I did note just sort of like my April and May TBR list because I have pre-orders coming, so I wanted to make note of like, you know, don't stack my TBR too high because there are pre-orders that I really, really want to get to. So that's what is going on there. Here are my book journal ideas, which I did go back and cross off my book bingo idea because I ended up adding some book bingo pages to this. So as we continue on, I have my little coloring sheet for tracking my genres. I have my little monthly recap area here. And on the back of my monthly recap is where I thought I was going to leave space to do like my year recap. But I was like, let me do that later, right? I should use the space for stuff that I'm actively doing now. So I went ahead and put in some little bingos. These were just things that I found off Pinterest. I have no idea where this Taylor Swift Eras Reading Challenge is from. I just thought it was really fun and I could already see some things that I was sort of crossing off. So I went ahead and did that. This is a Beat the Backlist reading bingo, apparently from novelnight.com. So I went ahead and printed that out because I liked how many prompts there were. There was just like a lot of different things that I could sort of cross off as I'm reading. And it kind of filled up the page nicely. I'm sure I'll come back in and add more stuff. I have a little nook of space here where I could add in more things. But at least I was able to get both of them onto kind of one page there. So I'm really happy about that. We, of course, have my 2025 book goals. No major changes there. I did add a little sticker. We have the new release area, which is really helpful for me to kind of denote what books I have pre-ordered, like what new books are coming out and what I have pre-ordered. That's really handy. And then, of course, we have my favorite quotes from books that I'm reading this year. I did take some time to go through and pop in some quotes that I had tabbed in some books that I had already read this year. Again, more space for quotes. And then this is from 2024. Moving right along, we get into sort of my business section where I have some goals, which I'm going to skip that little goal page for you there, but I'll go into where I sort of organize my videos. So these are my minimum videos that I do every month. As you can see, I produce a lot of videos. This is literally 14 videos a month that I'm currently making, which is why I had to revamp my content sort of list planning page. I make a lot of videos, a lot of which are on Patreon, and so I like having kind of up ahead. You can see I have some things already written here because I've already pre-filmed those, so they're just waiting to be edited. And then I go through and I highlight and I make a note of what the videos was on each sort of thing. This has been incredibly helpful for when I film ahead. I can kind of just make note, like, have I done sort of my required videos? Do I have any like YouTube videos in the queue, etc.? This has just been a really good way for me to kind of use this sheet in my planner here. On the bottom, I do list out my books read. This is something that I was sort of carrying over because I started doing this last summer and I just kept doing it. I really technically don't need this here, but I don't know why. I do. I don't know why. At some point, I will probably have to get rid of this because it just doesn't make sense. I track this in my reading journal area, but I'm a creature of habit, so there it is. I have not set up through July to December, but at some point I will, and it will obviously look like this, where I have sort of like my list ready to go to highlight to add extra notes. Then you would have seen, of course, that I made the new idea sheets for the various places where I post content. Of course, I did not fill this in yet on camera. I will do that off camera, referencing kind of my lists from before and popping things in. So now I just have a running list of ideas. So I have a blank one for YouTube. I have one for Patreon. And what's nice too is that I can always continue on to the back page as well. And then I have one for Sketchbook Club and tarot journaling. These are videos that I very often will film in advance and that I sort of always need running ideas for, that's on my all access tier on Patreon. Beyond that, this is a whole section of work things, personal things that I keep off camera. So I've given it its own tab and it lives in this section here. Then we get into the monthly area, which I will go ahead and jump right to April, since that was one of the things. Well, let me actually go back to some of the weeklies in March, because I did go back in and add some of, I keep like tweaking whether this is straight or not. It's really hard for me to tell right now. I did go back to previous weeks and add in those little photos that I had discussed, just from my little selfies after I do my little run. So I popped those in. I also have like a collection of older photos from a picture frame that I like pulled out, and they were just like printed on paper. So I've been using those kind of throughout just so that they weren't going into the trash. So if you see kind of photos like this, they're older ones. This is literally from James's 30th birthday in Palm Springs. This was a while ago. This was literally 11 years ago. That's crazy. Here is, as you can see, the week of St. Patrick's Day. I went ahead and popped in those photos there. And then I'm in my current week, which I'm not going to flip into at this current moment. And then April, I took the time to set up April. I always use this area for sort of like my high level goals, which is always a combination of both work goals and personal life things, because I do manage everything at home. So all of our house stuff, again, my job description is very lengthy as far as all the things that I am responsible for and that I manage outside of By Bun. So I kind of list those things there, my high level goals that I want to get done for the month, maybe some sort of little quote or reminder for myself I want to keep running. So that was something that I put there. I also gave myself some extra space here for some additional sort of high level monthly goals that I want to do that also kind of rolled over from March. So that's what's going on there. I have found that just kind of making this a very decorative sort of dashboard kind of vibe is just really fun. So I always do a combination of just like fun doodles and drawings from my kid, fun photos, things that just kind of fit the vibe of that month or that season. So you can see I really leaned into sort of the pastel colors, all of that to really like, give spring vibes. Moving into the weekly area, you also would have seen that I did go ahead and add some little tabs up at the top for each week. So that is how I'm able to turn to each sort of weekly page there. Again, I kind of leaned into more of a pastel vibe on those. I get those from No White Space Stickers. They're just paper like Mickey tabs. I absolutely love them. And you also would have seen too on my little idea list pages. On my little idea list pages, I did go ahead and add some big ones as well, and I put them on the side, which I think will be more helpful because I have so much tabs now happening at the top that having kind of these big sparkly ones on the side will be really handy because I do get to this area quite a bit. So I believe that's all the updates. We went through that whole list of stuff, which is crazy, and now I feel like my planner has been refreshed. I did go ahead and take out December. You would have seen that little chunk there. Well, I'll flip to this. This is my Disney trip tracker here. So you'll see that the months roll right into, my months now start in January because I archived December out. So I do have an archive planner where I kind of move sections out, and that really helps with sort of managing with the bulk here because I do need a lot of future time. So at some point, I'll probably need to get September in here, but I think I'm okay for right now. That's a scary thought that I have to already be thinking about like back to school in the future, but I do have dates for things that far out, which is really crazy. So I hope you guys like this little plan with me sesh. What I thought, again, was going to be like tinkering ended up being like a full send, let's do a planner situation. As I mentioned at the start of the video, if you want to see more planner content, I do sort of monthly recap planner journal with me videos over on Patreon. So I'll put a link down below for that if you're interested in more of those. If you made it to the end, what are we gonna do? Okay, if you made it to the end of this video, why don't you go ahead and put a little like calendar or a composition book emoji at the bottom just to kind of symbolize, you know, planner life a little bit, just so that I know you are a real one and you made it to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. I put out 2 new videos every week. Like this video if you liked it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.